Hi, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life and the NTBA. And today's Lunch and Learn, I am talking about blogging. Uh, is it even still necessary? We're bombarded by blogs, aren't we? And everyone's doing it. But why do we still need to be writing blogs on a consistent basis? There are three main reasons for it. Firstly, it's lead generation. So blogs are obviously the traditional way of getting your message out there, but they're still really important. Google needs to see that you're regularly posting from your website to keep your website in the rankings. That means that people searching for things that you're writing about can find you. So think about each blog you write as almost like a mini salesperson going out and selling for you, because that's what blogs are. If you don't write blogs on your website is going to sit there and it may not be found. I mean, obviously you can tell people about it, but they're not going to, it's not going to be found by people searching online, and that's what you want. You want people to find you organically. The second reason blogs are important is that it builds your credibility. So when you're writing a well-written blog that is talking to your ideal client and showcasing your expertise and your knowledge and your unique approach, that's when blogs are really, really important, because building that expertise and that credibility helps that whole know, like, and trust factor, and getting people ready to want to work with you. And the third reason blogs are important is that it's content that, yes, it takes a bit of effort to write a blog, but then that content can be repurposed into lots of different things. It can be repurposed into a video, a podcast, a talk or a webinar, and even your book. So when I wrote my book back in 2017, I had already written 40 or 50 blogs by then. So, of course, when it came to that topic in the book, I literally just copied and pasted some of my blogs that I'd written. Yes, I'd tweaked it for the chapters, etc., but it was so much easier than trying to write from scratch. So the more blogs and content you're writing, the more flexible and versatile your content is, and you can turn that into lots of different things. So where if you're going to have to write a blog, then make it work for you, is what I'm saying. Here are my tips on how to write a good blog, because there's lots of things you need to think about. First thing is, let's just cover headlines, right? Headline is incredibly important. I spend quite a bit of time on my headlines. It may not look like it, but it's really important to get a headline that somebody wants to open, because if you write an email and your headline's rubbish, they're not going to open the email and they're not going to read it. When I'm talking about emails and blogs here, but the same thing. So I would encourage you to spend some time on this. There's lots of tools that you can use. I use something called coschedule.com headline analyzer, which is, it looks at your headline and it gives it a score. And that's really handy. Or you can just look at different types of headlines, like questions. So do you know the best foods to balance your hormones? Or curiosity questions, 10 ways to fix your gut. Number 8 is going to surprise you. Negativity as well. You can use this, I don't use it too much, but kind of like, never do this on an empty stomach, or something like that. Or the how-tos are great as well. So how to lose weight after 40 without going on another diet. Okay, those kind of headlines tend to work really well. But again, play with it and see what kind of headlines get your blogs and emails opened. The second tip is around images. It's really important to find a good image to go with your blog. And you absolutely cannot take an image off Google or use anybody else's images. You have to buy your images and have a stock. You need to subscribe to a stock website, photo website like Shutterstock, or I use something called Deposit Photos, and they are really good quality images that are very good value, because you can pay quite a bit for images and you don't want to pay that much. If you do take someone else's photo, you're going to get punished by Google, and you may get fined for copyright infringement as well. We really don't want to go there. So buy nice images, and it's just a part of your marketing cost. Number 3 tip is your writing style, and this is probably the biggest section that you need to really focus on. You need to get your head around the fact that writing a blog is not like writing an assignment at college. It is completely the polar opposite. So where you used to be writing in an academic way with references and scientific language, we need to do the complete opposite for a blog. because you're not writing for your tutors, you're writing for your ideal clients, your ICA, your ideal client avatar. Mine's called Annie, she's 49, she doesn't want to read my assignment. She wants to read something that is interesting, entertaining, and speaks to her what she's suffering with right now. So you need to be writing in a conversational tone. You need to be writing as you speak. So you need to be using you and I, making it more personal, and using your ideal client's language, using their words, not NT words or science words, using their words. It's really, really important not to over science things. You really sort of need to be putting it into a 5-year-old's language, something a 5-year-old would understand or your 90-year-old grandmother would get, because you need to be doing it at that level, because we assume so much knowledge that people just don't have. So if they're feeling bamboozled, or you're saying something that they don't understand, it will go over their heads and they'll stop reading. So that's what we don't want to happen. So use slang, use lots of, there are no rules to your writing. So when you speak, there are no rules, right? So you might have a sentence that's literally 2 words, or you might use slang, and that's all good. The only thing you do have to worry about is spelling. Make sure you don't make any spelling mistakes, because that is just kind of basic. You don't need to worry about your grammar though. You don't need to worry about, remember your English lessons at school. No one's marking these things. You write as you talk, short, snappy sentences, slang and is good, and no grammar. I know, it's kind of weird, isn't it? But we completely taught the wrong way. Well, not for marketing purposes anyway. No need for references. This isn't an assignment. I did used to put references on my blogs, and it used to take me ages, and no, you don't need any of that stuff. No one has ever asked me to reference anything I've said. Yes, if you're doing a white paper or a research project, obviously, but this for marketing purposes, you don't need to worry about references. You can link a couple if you want to in your copy. So I just put a hyperlink I may say, oh, this study looked at, and then you can link to it, but you don't need to put references at the bottom. And be yourself. So make sure you're including some of your own personality. Use stories, use client examples, use your own examples. Put a bit of humour in if you can, and just write it as if you're writing for a friend, because you want to treat your copy as if your ideal client is reading it and they're your friend, and that's going to help with your writing style. So next tip is to use keywords. So keywords are things that people are searching for. That's all you need to worry about. Most of the things that we do as NTs, it's going to be around symptoms, weight gain, fatigue, that kind of stuff. So just think about what people might be searching for, and you'll pretty much get there. If you want to go into it in a bit more depth, you've got keyword ad tools from Google. You've got something called Word Tracker that you can look at how many people are searching for things, but you don't need to really go that deep if you don't want to. Number 5 tip is to use subheadings. So when you're writing a blog, you want lots of white space. So I usually do a couple of lines per paragraph. So you've got some space, because people like to skim read. And if they see a big paragraph with loads of words in it, they're never going to read it. So just lots of space, short sentences where you possibly can. Subheadings are really important because they get picked up by the search engines. So, and use that topic. So for instance, if I'm talking about menopause, I'll have menopause as my keyword, and then I want to include a couple of menopause words in my subheadings as well. And that will keep the search engines happy, but it's also easy for people to skim if you've got sort of subheadings and short paragraphs and lots of space. And then I like to do either a little summary at the end, just what's happening, because people do skim down as well and go down to the end, or end it with a question or something like that. So something that will encourage comments and engagement. So what do you think of this? What are your tips for this? What's worked for you? Those kind of things, because then it will encourage them to comment on it. And then you want to, if you've got a WordPress website, you want to be signing up to a plugin called Yoast, Yoast, and that will make it much easier for you to make sure your blog is as optimized as possible for the search engines. So it'll just ask you for your keyword, and then it'll ask you for a description and and then sort of tick boxes on what else you need to be doing to your blog to make it searchable so that people can find it. And lastly, please don't wait for your blog to be perfect. It'll never be as good as you want it to be. And consistency is way more important than how perfect your blog is. So try and be aiming for a blog a week. If you can, that would be your sort of optimal, because that will then allow you to send that out to your email list every week. And the more consistent you get with that, the more content you're going to build up, and the more you can do with it, and the more credible it looks on your website. So consistency, if you're a perfectionist, just let it go. It doesn't matter that it's not perfect. Just get something out there as often as you can. Hope that was helpful. If you need help with your business, either if you're starting out and you kind of just overwhelmed with the amount of stuff to do and you just need some guidance, or if you've been going for a while but you're not earning enough or you're not having a big enough impact, then my next NTBA Foundation program is opening up for September. Really excited. Do check it out, or email me, of course, if you have any questions or you want to have a chat about it. All right, see you next time. Bye.